Welcome to episode 19 of LWW Underground, and we are already off to a crazy start to this episode. We had the GM of the show, Paul Phoenix, already out here, making the announcement that Xander King and Damian King will face each other in the main event of this episode. They decide who will challenge the current U.S. champion, Damian Mother Effin' Wolf. Which I still cannot believe that Damian Wolf is the U.S. champion to begin with. And we are kicking the show off, as far as the match is concerned, with Chris Jericho making his return once again. And he's apparently, from what I've been told, he's taking on Damien Sandow, who we have not seen in quite some time. So Jericho hasn't won a single match since he first started showing up here. He lost a hardcore match. He lost the internet title match he had. And now he's taking on Damien Sandow, who hasn't had exactly the best record in this company. I can't remember the last time Sandow even had a match. I can imagine that the only reason why Jericho wanted this match is because he wanted to finally get a win underneath his belt here in LWW. He doesn't want to be the new Zack Ryder, that's for sure. Haven't had Zack Ryder wrestle in a while. It's been a minute. Just like it's been a minute since Sandow last wrestled a match. And Jericho, like I said, is trying to get his first win in this company, since he has not had the best track record since he first showed up here. And here comes Damien Sandow. Only thing he ever really did in his career as far as like WWE is concerned was like when he was tag team champions with The Miz and when he won the Money in the Bank, that he was unsuccessfully able to cash in on John Cena when he tried to become World Heavyweight Champion. He had a pretty good career outside of WWE though. Held multiple championships. I know he held one in TNA. He held the national championship in NWA. Other than that, I don't really know what else he's done in his career in wrestling. I think he retired recently, but I don't remember. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And now Sandow is wrestling here for the first time in quite some time. And he's taking Chris Jericho in the opening contest of this episode. Because, of course, these two are the ones jerking the curtain, as Magnitude would say once. Now, these two both wrestled for WWE back in the day at one point. And let's get this opening contest of Underground episode 19 underway. And Jericho just immediately chopping Sandow out of the air when he tried to go for a dropkick. And now Jericho is sending Sandow into the ropes. Weird neckbreaker, whatever the hell that is. So now Jericho sending Sandow into the ropes again. And Sandow with a go behind on Jericho. Can't ever tell between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. Into the go behind. Jericho getting slammed down by Sandow. Kicking the section of Sandow by Jericho in the headlock. Northern Lights suplex. Sandow blocks the punch from Jericho. Into the go behind. And Jericho reverses it. Shot to the back of Sandow there. And now Jericho whipping Sandow into the corner again. Watch out, ref. Kick the Sandow there while he's in the corner. Now Jericho just grinding his knee against Sandow's face. Kick the back of Sandow there. And now just putting the boots to him. Now Jericho picking up Sandow. Sandow blocking a dropkick attempt. And now Sandow whipping Jericho into the corner. And now Sandow, what in the world? Well, that's one way to do a powerbomb, whatever the hell that was, by Sandow. And now Sandow with a headlock on Jericho. Into the body slam. And now Damien Sandow dragging Jericho away from the ropes. And now Sandow going for cover. Not even a 1 count. Punch to the face. And another one. And Jericho blocks that one. Into the armbar. And Jericho with a shot to the arm of Sandow there. Into the go behind. And the headlock. Headlock takeover. Shout out to Darby Allin. And another kick to the back of Sandow there by Jericho. Now Jericho with a headlock on Sandow. Into the suplex. And another kick to the back of Sandow by Jericho there. And Sandow just punches him off. Float over DDT there by Sandow, whatever the hell DDT that was. And now Sandow just slamming Jericho's head against the ring. And now Jericho blocking a kick from Sandow into the Dragon Screw. And just kicking him in the back again. And now Jericho going for the walls of Jericho. This is why he was kicking him in the back so much, because he wanted to do as much damage as he possibly could. And now he's trying to make him tap, but he was too close to the ropes there, and Sandow got the rope break. And Sandow blocking what I would assume it was Jericho's attempt at the code breaker. Oh god. And now Sandow, the neck breaker to Jericho. And now Sandow go for cover. 1, 2, and Jericho kicks out. And Sandow sending Jericho into the corner. Watch out, ref. Knee drop to Jericho there by Sandow. And now Sandow going for a submission on Jericho, and he was too close to the ropes here, and he got a rope break as well. In the headlock by Sandow and Jericho. And now Sandow with a suplex to Jericho. Oh god, now Sandow going to the outside of the ring. Really? Sandow, you are getting fined for this. There's no reason for this you to be destroying my announce table, my guy. And now Jericho with an armbar on Sandow. And Sandow with a shoulder tackle to Jericho. In an elbow drop. And now Sandow picking up Jericho. Now sends him against my announce table. And now sets him on the table. Oh god. Sandow, this is literally the opening contest. We don't need this. It's Sandow an elbow drop to the announce table back to Jericho there. Was that really necessary, Sandow? This is literally the opening contest of the episode. And Jericho is back up. And Jericho blocks that punch. Flips him over. Into the submission. Jericho, you need to get him back in the ring if you're going to try and make him tap out. Ref's up to a count of 4. Now 5, by the way. And now Jericho sending Sandow into the barricade. Now Jericho is back in the ring, and Sandow's running around the ring. And now they're both back in the ring. And now Sandow with a Uranagi to Jericho. And now go for cover Sandow. 1, 2, and Sandow gets the win off the Uranagi. Jericho taking yet another L. This time to, of all people, Damien freaking Sandow. It's just sad at this point that Jericho still has not won a match yet in this company. It's like, why do we even bother keeping him around at this point? Then again, the same way with Zack Ryder, but at least we all like Zack Ryder, unlike Jericho, who's a freaking dick. And now Sandow's doing a cartwheel. What the hell? I never knew Sandow for doing a cartwheel whenever he won. The next match is a match between Yusuke Yamashi and Leonidas. If Leonidas wins, he'll get a shot at Yusuke's Intercontinental title at the Super Show. And since Leonidas already has a win over Yusuke, you can only imagine he's probably looking forward to getting another win. That match is up next. And this next match is the match between Leonidas and Yusuke, and if Leonidas manages to pull off another win against Yusuke in this match, he'll challenge Yusuke for the Intercontinental title at the next Super Show. Leonidas already holds a win over Yusuke from the match that they had a while back. Can't remember exactly when they faced each other, but I believe it might have been on an episode of Underground, or it might have been on an open fight night, or it might have been on a main event episode. I can't remember exactly. If somebody could go back and go to the videos on the channel and find where that match happened, I would appreciate it, because I really don't have the time to be going back and checking. But Leonidas is looking to get opportunity for a title. This will be the first time, if he does manage to get the opportunity, he's challenged for a title in a long-ass time. Now, it's been a minute since the last time I've even seen Leonidas in a match. I think the last time he was in a match was that match with Yusuke, and when him and Kratos took on Khal Drogo and Poseidon a while back. And Westeros is still livid about that, by the way. And here comes the current Intercontinental Champion Yusuke, who's looking to redeem himself against Leonidas, because, like I said, Leonidas beat Yusuke in a shocking upset a while back. And Yusuke has had that on his mind ever since, which is why he gave Leonidas this opportunity. If he can beat him a second time in a row, then he will give him a title shot. And the management signed off on it. Yusuke's a fighting Intercontinental Champion. We haven't seen him in a minute, but he's a fighting champion. If somebody steps up and wants to freaking challenge him for his title, and he thinks that they might give him a proper fight, and he'll be like, bet, motherfuckers. I'll kick your asses and retain my title. Okay, so Yusuke wants to try and beat Bane's record, because Bane is the current longest reigning Intercontinental Champion we've ever had. Yusuke wants to be the one to break that. And I hope he does, because Bane is a douche. In every universe he's in. And let's get this non-title match underway between these two. Kicked midsection of Leonidas by Yusuke. And go behind by Leonidas on Yusuke here. Into the suplex. And Leonidas just stomping away and a chop to Yusuke. There's a Sparta kick by Leonidas to Yusuke there. 1, 2, and Yusuke kicks it out of 2. That's how quick Leonidas can pull that out of nowhere. He can literally hit that at any moment. Yusuke would kick the midsection at Leonidas there, and I'm amazed Yusuke kicked out of that first one. Jumping axe handle there, and now Leonidas with repeated elbows to the shoulders of Yusuke. With the kick there, Leonidas, and headlock by Yusuke and Leonidas there. And Yusuke sending Leonidas into a neckbreaker. And now Yusuke with punches and a drop kick to Leonidas. Shot to the back of Leonidas there. And an armbar. And a backbreaker by Yusuke there to Leonidas. And Leonidas is shoving him off. And Leonidas just getting cut off and he tried to go for another. This is Sparta. And a knee to the head of Leonidas there by Yusuke. Now Yusuke tried to go for a suplex, but Leonidas reversed it into a neckbreaker. Now Leonidas sitting up for a second. This is Sparta kick. He might have kicked out of the first one, but I don't think he's kicking out of this one. Oh, no, he's just the clubbing shot there. And now Leonidas is just taunting. Bulldog by Yusuke, and that's what you get for taunting Leonidas, you dumbass. Now Yusuke going for an Alabama slam. And he nails it. Going for coverage, Yusuke. 1, 2, and Leonidas kicks out. Headlock by Leonidas and Yusuke. And now Leonidas is just dragging him around the ring. Calling elbow tap, turn 2. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. Yusuke with the headlock on Leonidas. And now Yusuke, the spirit gun to Leonidas. And now Yusuke dragging Leonidas from the ropes. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Yusuke gets the pin over Leonidas. So much for getting that opportunity. And Yusuke pretty much putting a stop to Leonidas' hopes and dreams for a title. Which sucks for Leonidas, because I know he really wanted to get that opportunity. And speaking of title opportunities, Reptile is challenging Darkseid for the King of Wolf title. And it's been a long ass time since we've seen Reptile. And Darkseid, he hasn't had a title match, but he had to try and defend that title ever since he won it. He's been a pain in the ass to deal with. Now Darkseid has to defend that title, and he'll be forced to relinquish it. Man, still sucks for Leonidas what happened. But Yusuke reminding everybody why he's a fighting Intercontinental Champion. And like I said, that next match with Darkseid Reptile is right after this one. Congrats on the win, Yusuke. Now we just have to wait and see who's going to challenge him for the title. And Yusuke is still celebrating after being on late nights. There's Kratos! And he just clocked Yusuke in the face of the Intercontinental title. And it looks like Kratos wants a shot at the Intercontinental title after. I still cannot believe that Kratos just randomly came out here and decked Yusuke with the Intercontinental title and took off before Yusuke would wake up. And Yusuke was livid when he did wake up. And I seen Leonidas as he was walking up the ramp too, just laughing at Yusuke after he got practically knocked the F out by Kratos with the Intercontinental title. And after that whole stunt, it is confirmed that Kratos will challenge Yusuke for the Intercontinental title at Super Show 5. Guys, Yusuke is livid, and he was literally screaming at one of the camera guys because he was trying to send a message to the people in the production and everything in the back. He wants Kratos in a match. Because Yusuke is pissed. And here comes Darkseid. And I don't know why the hell he's coming out like a boxer. Freaking fourth wall big. I forgot to change his champion. So that's my bad. So I guess we're living with Darkseid acting like he's freaking Doomfist or whatever. Into a boxer, but for some reason. I'll change that later. But this is Darkseid's first defense of the King of Wolves Championship since he won that title. A long time ago. He's been holding that thing for a minute, it feels like. And now he's finally chosen now to finally start defending it And for those who might not know how the King of Wolves title works, if you can retain it 3 times consecutively, you can turn it in for a world title shot. It's pretty much like the Excalibur title over in TAW, but it's different because, like I said, you have to actually retain it 3 times before you can turn it in. So it's kind of like the Gift of the Gods title, I guess. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen Lucha Underground, which, by the way, apparently is coming back. At least that's what they're hinting of that teaser that they posted a while back. And here comes Reptile, the former New Gen World Champion. He was the first New Gen Champion. That's really the only thing he's done besides reuniting with Scorpion, forming out their version of Mortal Kombat, since, Sub-Zero's a dick and he's freaking with the Unwashed right now. And Scorpion wants Sub-Zero's head on a pike. That's literally what Scorpion told me one time. If he ever got his hands on Sub-Zero again, he would freaking probably rip his spine out of his body. That's what he literally told me a while back. Which is why Sub-Zero has stayed the hell away from Scorpion. And there's the challenger, the former New Gen World Champion, Reptile, hoping to win his second ever championship in this company. And there's the current King of Wolves Champion, the biggest dick in the company out of everybody around here. When it comes to other people, that are a bunch of dicks. Freaking Darkseid, the leader of the Unwashed. Freaking still cannot believe that he's the one who leads that from gaggle of jack-offs. And this is Darkseid's first match in a long time, same with Reptile. So these two probably have ring rust. But who the hell knows? And there's the King of Wolves title that these two are fighting over. Let's get this championship match underway between these two. And Darkseid immediately with the armbar and Reptile. Into the Gutbuster. Reptile, I love you, but you probably have no shot against Darkseid. And Darkseid's already going for Apocalypse. And he nails it. And Darkseid somehow always knocking himself out. And Reptile just no-sells it. And now Reptile sending Darkseid in the corner. And Reptile's already going for his comeback. And Reptile with the leg drop. Off the ropes. Springboard crossbody the Darkseid there. And the Bulldog the Darkseid. Somebody actually nailed that freaking comeback animation. I'm amazed. And now Reptile. Uranagi there. And a side effect. Don't for a cover as Reptile. 1. Only a 1 count. Darkseid kicked out at 1. And now Darkseid getting sent to the outside. And now Reptile picking up Darkseid. And now just bringing him over to the corner barricade. Oh god, Reptile, what are you doing? And Reptile sparing Darkseid through the barricade. Well, those guys freaking got their money's worth with those seats right there. I don't think Darkseid was expecting this kind of offense from Reptile. Reptile is just running around the ring now. Darkseid is just out on the outside of the ring. And now Darkseid is back up. Reptile is just taunting. And now Darkseid is just running around the ring. Now he's back in the ring now. Go behind by Reptile. Shot to the back. Headlock by Reptile and Darkseid. Versus into a suplex. Now Darkseid setting up for another Apocalypse. Or that choke bomb he likes to use. And he nails a second Apocalypse to Reptile. And now go for cover is Darkseid. 1, 2, and Darkseid retains the King of Wolves Championship for the first time. That's 1 retention. 2 more for Darkseid and he'll be able to challenge for the world title by turning in that belt. Reptile gave it his best. He nailed the side effect. And he also speared Darkseid through the barricade. So Reptile freaking surprised me with how much offense he did on Darkseid. And Darkseid was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of playing around with this guy. But Darkseid retains the King of Wolves title. And he's unfortunately that much closer to potentially getting a world title opportunity. Fuck. But our next match is the first of 2 women's matches, where Zarina King, the current internet champion for the women's division, takes on Applejack. And if Applejack manages to continue her win streak, outside the one time she lost to Livewire, Applejack will probably use that opportunity to challenge for the internet title, which I would not be surprised, because Zarina's a fighting champion. As far as I know, she doesn't have an opponent right now. And this next contest is a non-title match where Serena King, the current internet champion for the women's division, takes on Applejack in singles competition. And AJ, outside of losing the live wire that one time, has pretty much been undefeated. And if she manages to pull off a victory over her current champion, then AJ would probably have a right to be able to challenge Serena for the title. And knowing Serena, she probably would accept it without a second thought, because Serena loves to compete and she likes to test her abilities and likes to push herself when it comes to facing the best competition that's put in front of her. And plus, she hasn't defended her internet championship in a while, and she would love to be able to defeat and be only the second person to ever beat Applejack. Plus, AJ would probably love the opportunity, because she's mainly been a tag team champion with Pinkie Pie ever since they won the tag team titles. Ever since they practically first showed up in the company, they've been the only women's tag team champions since those belts were created. And now AJ has an opportunity to potentially earn herself a title shot for the Women's Internet Championship, which will be her first singles gold. And if that was the case, then AJ would probably still allowed to be tag team champion, but at the same time, Rainbow Dash again came back recently. So I wouldn't be surprised that they just do the Freebirds thing and have Rainbow and Pinkie team up to defend the tag titles whenever those titles need to be defended. And AJ would just continue doing the singles thing. But who knows? We have to wait and see. Depends on if AJ wins this match or not. And let's get this one-on-one match between these two. And now Serena headlock on AJ. Sends her in the ropes. Up into a knee in the midsection instead. I thought she was going to send her in the ropes there. And Serena just kicks and a punch and a dual chop there. And AJ blocks that kick. Clothesline by AJ. And Serena. And AJ with a headlock and a punch to the face of Serena there. Whiffs the elbow drop. And Serena with a DDT to AJ. Serena just with a punch to the face of AJ there. Into the armbar by AJ. Whips her in the corner. Just repeated elbows to the face of Serena in the corner there by AJ. That was AJ with a headlock on Serena. Sends her into the corner again. And now AJ sending her in the opposite corner. Watch out, ref. AJ, ref, get the fuck out of the way. Jesus. AJ almost got herself disqualified because the ref was in the fucking way. And even when AJ tried to tell him to get the fuck out of the way, he still would just stand there. Freaking dumbass ref. And now Serena sending AJ into the corner. And now Serena whipping AJ into the opposite corner for reasons. Misses the double knees to Serena there. Kicked the midsection of Serena there. And repeated punches by AJ. And Serena blocks that one. Spawns one of her own there. Into the armbar. AJ getting set in the corner. Misses the knees again. Shoulder tackle by AJ to Serena. No, AJ with a suplex to Serena. Whiffs the elbow drop again. Spine buster by AJ to Serena. AJ with a headlock on Serena, who slips out of it. Misses the knee drop there. DDT by AJ to Serena. Go behind by AJ and Serena there. Whips her in the corner again. And Serena putting AJ in the corner. That time nails the knees to the face. And now Serena just with punches and slaps and try to go for the dual chop there, but AJ caught her in a headlock. Puts her in the corner, now shot to the midsection. And more elbows to the face of Serena by AJ here. Whiffs the elbow drop. Good job there, AJ. That time she nailed it. Straight to the middle of the chest. Now AJ with a headlock on Serena. Just punches her down. And nails her with the elbow drop there. Now picking up Serena's AJ. And now AJ with a neck breaker to Serena. Now drags her away from the ropes. And AJ going for the cover on Serena. 1, 2. Only one count there. And now AJ going for her trademark powerbomb, which she has won with in the past. And she nails it. AJ dragging Serena away from the ropes. Going for the covers, AJ. 1. Only a 1 count. What the fuck? AJ with an armbar on Zelina. She was like, what the hell? Freaking usually I win with that move. And her punch knocking in the ropes. Sends her in the ropes. It's AJ. Back body drop to Zelina there by AJ as well. And Zelina trips her up. Now Zelina headlock on AJ. Just repeatedly kicking her in the face. And the headlock again. A Hurricane Rana by Zelina there to AJ. And now Zelina was repeated elbows to the shoulder of AJ. And now Zelina picking up AJ there. And AJ Black, whenever Zelina tried to go for there, he kicked the midsection. And now AJ has her set up for a suplex. And she nails it. And now AJ going for a submission on Zelina. Trying to make the internet champion tap out here. I don't remember the last time, if ever, Zelina's ever tapped out to anybody. And Zelina manages to hang on, and then she flips her over her shoulders there. Headlock by Zelina on AJ. Final notice flatliner, straight from Xavier's King. She borrowed that. Zelina going for cover on AJ. One. Only one count there. And now Zelina going for the King's Clash. And she nails the King's Clash to AJ. Going for cover again. One. Two. And AJ kicks out again somehow. Kicked the midsection of Zelina by AJ. And the neck breaker again. Going for cover is AJ. One. Two. And AJ pins the internet champion. And with that, AJ probably just secured herself a title opportunity. Because now her record is like only one loss and like I don't know how many wins she's had now. But AJ with probably the biggest win of her career since her and Pinky won the tag titles. Now AJ has a chance to become a dual champion, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. But AJ with a big win here over Zelina King. Because she's not only the internet champion, she's a former women's champion, for crying out loud. And people have been saying that AJ should be challenged for the world championship in the women's division. AJ has been too preoccupied with being a tag team champion, and she wanted to work her way up to being a world champion eventually, like Rainbow Dash. The next match is a no DQ match between Samus and Sonya, because Samus is pissed with Sonya after causing Zelda the women's title a while back. Sonya, I wish you luck. And this next contest is a no DQ match between the former women's world champion Sonya and Samus Aran. Or Aran, however you pronounce her last name. Don't want to piss off the Metroid fans. And this match was happening because Samus was pissed off with Sonya, and they can let her know when they ran into each other in the backstage area recently. Samus was pissed because she blamed Sonya and accused her of taking out Zelda, so she wouldn't be able to participate in the women's title match. The most recent pay-per-view where Zelda was supposed to have a rematch along with Cammy and Dawn for the women's title. But Zelda got taken out by somebody, and Samus assumed it was Sonya, helping out her best friend Cammy, and Cammy ended up winning that match, retaining her title by beating Dawn in that match. And like I said, Samus and Sonya had their whole competition in the backstage area like a couple of weeks ago or something like that. I forget how long ago it's been. And these two agreed to having a no DQ match. And Samus is determined to beat the ever-living holy shiznits out of Sonya with whatever implement she can find. Be it from the crowd or underneath the ring. And Sonya is just looking forward. They're probably kicking the ever-living crap out of Samus. Because Sonya was adamant that it wasn't her that took out Zelda. Even though we are all pretty sure she's lying. Because you know how Sonya is. Ever since she aligned herself with the Unwashed, she's been nothing but a first-class bitch! But either way. This match is probably going to get crazy. And let's get this Extreme Rules match underway between these two. Calm appetite between the two start off. Sean McCartney's going to be happy somewhere. Headlock by Sonya and Samus. Suplex by Sonya and Samus. And now Sonya with a headlock on Samus. And just slamming her down. I thought she was going for a German suplex for a second. You know, Sonya with his head like on Samus, just flips her over there. And Samus flipping Sonya over there. And now Sonya with an armbar on Samus. Into the suplex. These two are both pretty strong women. Samus is, well, if you know anything about Metroid, you know how powerful Samus is. And Sonya is one of the best fighters in Mortal Kombat. These two are somewhat fairly even, especially since Samus' power is nerfed and neutralized when she steps into the arena here. And Sonya not taking down Samus with that clothesline. And now Sonya going for the first weapon of the match. And Sonya cracking Samus in the face and the back with that baseball bat. And another shot to the back. And another one. Sonya just beating the shit out of Samus, with that baseball bat. Slamming her knee against the floor into the ring. And obviously there's no countouts. And no DQs. It's pinfall or submission. And Samus getting whipped in the barricade there. And Sonya tried to go for a table, but Samus cut that off. And Samus sending Sonya back in the ring. Now Samus went elbow to the head of Sonya there. And now Samus is back in the ring. Calling elbow tap between the two again. Into the armbar by Sonya, and Samus flips her over. Elbow to the back of the head by Sonya there. And now Sonya picking up Samus. Now Sonya is just tossing her across the ring. Go for cover, Sonya. One. Only a one count there. And now Sonya trying to go for the armbar submission that she likes to use to win her matches. And Samus is manages to get out of this armbar. And Sonya with the German suplex to Samus. And now Sonya going to the outside, going for that baseball bat again. And now Samus just dodging that baseball bat shot there, and clotheslining Samus there, knocking that bat out of her hand. Just slamming her head against the ring as well. And Samus with the German suplex. Headlock by Samus on Sonya. Into the neck breaker. And now Samus picking up Sonya. And blocks the punch from Sonya there. And Sonya blocks that one. Then Samus blocks that one. Into the armbar by Samus. Flips her over. Elbow to the back of the head. Into the top of the head. One of the two. And Sonya just punches her off. Punch the face. And another one there. And a go behind. And Sonya with the suplex to Samus. And now Sonya going to the outside. Springboard, which she missed. Good job. And now Samus going to the outside. And Samus going for a weapon. She's going for a trash can, apparently. And Sonya has that baseball bat again. And Samus just nailing Sonya with that that trash can. That fan has a crutch, by the way. And Samus is just going to town on Sonya with that trash can. And Sonya blocking that dropkick attempt. Samus punching her off there. Kicked him midsection as well. They ran right into each other, and they both just punched each other in the face there. And Samus just punches, chops, and a drop kick. Samus whipping Sonya back in the ring. And Samus going for a kendo stick, it looks like. Nope, she's got a sledgehammer. And Sonya's like, nope, not dealing with that. And now Samus chases after her, and Sonya manages to get Samus to drop that sledgehammer. And then the chop block by Samus to Sonya there. There's another family, another crutch. DDT on the floor to Sonya there by Samus. And now they're slamming her head against the floor on the outside of the ring. And Sonya just shoves her off. Punch face, and another one. And belly-to-belly suplex to Samus there by Sonya. And what the fig just happened with that sledgehammer? And now Sonya and Samus. Somebody has a title belt whip by there. And a powerbomb on the floor to Samus by Sonya there. And now Sonya is beating the shit out of Samus. Oh, the sledgehammer is right there. And now Sonya picking up Samus. And Samus reverses it. And just nails Sonya with a backbreaker. And now Samus picking up Sonya. Sends her into the turnbuckle post. Slams her head against the ring post. And tosses her back in there. And now Samus is back in the ring. Clothesline by Sonya, knocking her down. And another one. Heel kick there by Sonya and Samus. And then Sonya with a springboard, which she missed. And now Samus going for the Metroid DDT. And she nails it. And now Samus going for a cover on Sonya. 1, 2, and Samus gets the win over Sonya. Payback is a bitch. In this case, Samus gets payback for Zelda. And gets vengeance over Sonya for what she assumes that she did to Zelda. Zelda's probably happy as heck too. But right now Zelda's been in the hospital since she got taken out, so we don't even know who the heck it is that took her out, and we probably won't know until Zelda comes back, whenever that is. But Samus with a big win over Sonya there. And the next match is the main event, which is a U.S. title number contender match between Xander and Damian King. The uncle takes on the nephew. And somewhere Xavier is probably pissed. Knowing him. Especially with his brother, because his brother's been a bit of a dick. Again. As of late. Now, also, like I said before, congrats on the win, Samus. It was big. And Lord knows Zelda's probably happy, smiling somewhere. That's for sure. And this is the main event of this episode of Underground, where Xander takes on his nephew Damian for a shot at the U.S. title. And Xander was the one who cost Damian the U.S. title to begin with, and when he had his match with Damian Wolf, who is the current U.S. champion right now. Xander didn't want to fight his nephew, even though he didn't have any issues fighting his own brother back in the day. You haven't forgotten about that, Xander, but you don't want to fight your own nephew? Like, really, dude? And Xander's a former world champion and a former tag team champion with Xavier. So Damian, you're in for one hell of a fight. Since the last time Damian faced another member of his family, he came up short to his father. And Damian was going by the name Spectre. And Xander is determined to get the opportunity to U.S. title, even if it means having to go back to being a first-class douche. Especially towards his own family members. It's like, really, dude? I don't know. Xander flip-flops a lot. Freaking, the guy can either be the biggest douche or one of the coolest dudes to be around. And that's why usually Xavier's always kept him at arm's length at times. And he just always kept an eye on, and then kept the eyes in the back of his head in case Xander tried to sneak attack him. And here comes Damian King, the current number one contender for the U.S. title, since he was a former champion. But him and Xander have had their back and forth for a while, and the GM earlier in the show was like, these two are going to have a match to decide who is the true number one contender for the U.S. championship, and who will face Damian Wolf at Super Show 5. Lord knows Damian Wolf is probably watching this match, eager to find out who it is he's going to be facing for the U.S. title that he currently holds. And I do not blame him. He's going to be facing somebody with the last name King. It's either going to be the dude he beat, or it's going to be somebody he's never faced before, in the case of Xander. So this match is going to be interesting, that's for sure. And Damian wants payback against his uncle for screwing him out of the U.S. title. And like I said, don't blame him there, because I would be livid too. Plus Xavier hasn't even bothered getting involved with these two because they both have been pissing him off, and he already has enough shit to deal with on his plate. Especially with this mystery CEO that Paul Phoenix keeps talking about. I cannot wait to see if he can beat that information out of his ass. And let's get this family civil war going again once more. And Xander with an armbar on Damian. Knee the midsection of Xander by Damian. Knees the face of Xander there by Damian. Now Damian with a headlock on his uncle. Sends him in the corner, does Damian. Misses a drop kick in the corner, does Damian. Heel kick by Xander to Damian in the back there. And a heel kick of his own from Xander to his nephew. And Xander already going for the kill switch to Damien there. Now Xander dragging Damien from the ropes. Always him over, going for a cover. What? Not even a 1 count. Damien was like, fuck your finisher. And Xander just a punch to his nephew's face and a headlock. Flips him over. Elbow to the back of the head. And now Xander the stomp to the chest of Damien. Running clothesline to his nephew. Now Xander picking up Damien. And now Xander with another kill switch to Damien. And I think he busted him up in the second one somehow. 1, 2, and Damien kicks out again. Able to turn the 2. Sean McCody's going to be happy somewhere. Headlock by Xander on Damien. Uppercut Damien there. Sends him to the outside. Yep, Damien is bleeding somehow. Neck breaker by Xander. And now Xander picking up Damien. As I'm up with a flapjack. There's a reason why Xander's a former world champion in this company. This is why. That and a Money in the Bank cash in that he stole. And another kill switch to Damien by Xander. That's the 3rd kill switch he's nailed. Going for a cover. 1, 2, and Damien kicks out again somehow. Arm drag by Damien to Xander. Kick to midsection and a punch knocking him in the lips. And now Damien is the hot shot to Xander there. Now Damien just running around the ring. Now he's back in the ring. Able to tie up again. Sean, I hope if you watch this, I hope you're loving this. And Xander with a neck breaker to his nephew again. Going for a cover is Xander. 1, only 1 count. And Xander sending his nephew in the corner. Watch that, ref. Drop kick in the corner to his nephew. And now Xander just grinding his knee against Damien's face. And now Xander picking up his nephew. And now Xander with the Xander's Wrath to Damien. Going for a cover is Xander. 1, 2, and Xander gets the win over Damien. God damn it. Xander making somewhat quick work of his nephew. Took 3 kill switches on a Xander's Wrath. And busting him open. But Xander is now the #1 contender for the US Championship, currently held by Damian Wolf. Now Damien knows who his opponent is going to be. And Damien King is going to be livid when he wakes up after this. Because his uncle freaking hit him with 4 separate finishers. 3 of which was the same thing. And Xander just acting like he went through like an epic match. You literally spit your nephew with the same finisher 3 times, dude. If anything, Damien is one that deserves to be writhing in pain because he got busted open and he got hit with like 4 finishes from his own uncle, for crying out loud. But that's how it goes, I guess. That's how the cookie crumbles. If you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you at Super Show 5. Peace!